Hello there, welcome to my channel once again. My name is Andrew, and today I'm going to show you how you can create a very simple order entry database. And I'm sure that most of you must be having businesses that uh, deal with orders, and I'm going to illustrate how you can come up with an order entry system such that you manage your information without any challenges. Just to illustrate what I'm going to take you through is a situation where you have your customers. For example, I have a customer here. Myself, I'm a customer of this company, Andrew. So when I open the order form, I should be able to see the orders I've made uh, of over a period. For example, you can see this is order number one, and my customer ID is one, and this order was made on rather on the 19th of February 2022, and the order was entailing sugar, salt, um, with quantities of two here, and then the unit price of sugar is 5,000, and the amount is calculated, and you get 10,000. That is 2 times 5,000. So you can see that you can create this simple database with ease. And here you can even search the order 2 that I made. um, this order 2 involved soda, five units at 500. This could be dollars or shillings or pound sterling. This is just for illustration purposes. You can see this 5 times 500, you get 2500. I can as well add another order. Just click here, add another order. For example, I know that my customer ID uh, is uh, is one, and this one you don't need to fill. It's just for searching. And if there are notes, well, you can indicate notes, and this order, of course, is not yet paid. You only tick it off when it is paid, and you'll be able to capture the orders here. This is order number 3, and this of course order ID number 3, and you capture the item to be ordered. And assuming this is maybe can we take what can we take here? We can take probably apples. How many apples? Probably 20, and each apple probably was $2. You can see when I press enter, it computes $40 here. And then assuming that it's the same order ID, this one corresponds to this order ID, this. So this one will be auto generated, the 3, but I'll be explaining how you can even get rid of this column. It is not very important, because in the background it will be working out the numbers, so you don't need even to see this order ID. But for purpose of understanding the concept very well, I think it is very important for me to take you through step by step. So we can also talk about oranges, assuming you have oranges here, and there are 30 oranges, and each orange maybe was $3. Uh, so you just keep uh, tapping enter, and it takes you to an, another line. Enter, and then assuming that you also bought maybe onions, enter, takes you to another line, or tab key. um, all the arrow keys, they can navigate you through as if you are in Microsoft Excel. And here we can say maybe they are kilos, maybe we bought 2 kilos, each kilo was maybe $20. I enter, that gives me 40. So you can see I've entered the order number 3, and my customer ID is 1. And having done that, I can close here, and if I want to view the order I've just captured, I open here, come and look up for that order number 3. This is the order. I can as well go ahead and create a report to print off that order. I created a report here. Though it's not connected to this form, I can connect it to the form such that you just click on the form here to reach the report, but the report is under here, order details. So when I click on this report, I should be able to see the orders I've made. You can see, for example, this is order ID for myself, Andrew, and for this order ID, these are the different items I have purchased. So having covered that, I'm going to now take you through step by step. Of course, these were for order number 3, for order ID number 3. But don't worry, I'll explain that later as I take you through a detailed report, so that you are able to even get for items for order number 1, order number 2, order number 3, and so on and so forth. The most important thing is for you to learn how to come up with this database. Now, first things first, one of the things you need to really understand is that you need to identify the various tables for your database. So I'm going to go to MS Word so that I explain. We do the planning. Without proper planning, building database can become a very difficult exercise. So we need to first plan. First of all, we are doing orders, and under orders, of course, you expect who will make the order. The order will be made by a customer. The order will be made by a customer. So customer will be one of the tables, so I need customer table. See, customer table. Then remember that we shall need orders. Then we shall also need orders table. Orders table. Then instead of having so many details in the orders table, it's better to separate the orders from the order details. So we're also going to have another table for order details. So these are different tables. Order details. Now table. So these are our tables. So under customer table, we can now assign the different fields we need. The first one is customer ID. We need to identify each customer with a unique ID. We can have customer name, so we can as well just say a name in order not to complicate it. Name. We can as well say telephone, customer telephone number, telephone. These are the different fields we need. Then email, assuming that you'll be mailing customers. Then address. So this is the first table. So this is the first table. So under this table we have customer ID, name, telephone, can as well say telephone number, but telephone is good enough, and email, then address. Then we are going to have another table. We call it the second table is going to be called orders table, and under this orders table we are going to have order ID. You need to give it give each order an ID, order ID, then customer, because you want to make sure that each order is as associated with a customer ID. So this customer ID will have a relationship with this customer ID column in the customer table. I think we can even say customers, and then we can have date ordered, or date order, and then we can have maybe notes, and then we can finally have, is it paid, is the order paid, is paid. It's like we're asking paid, yes or no. So these are the fields under the orders table. Then order details. Now this is where most of the information will be captured. So we are going to have what we call relationship database. We are going to relate customers to these orders. So in order for these two tables to connect, you need to have this customer ID column as a primary key. This is going to be primary key. Primary key means that it's a unique, it will be a unique number. It will be a primary key here, and then the order ID will also be a primary key, and the order ID is going to be connected to order details. That means we need to have order details ID. Then we go to then we should have what we call now, in order to connect this table to this, you need to make sure that you have order ID in this table. Order ID, and then you also need to have the particulars or items ordered, items or particulars, whatever if you want to call it. Then we also need to make sure that we have a we don't need, the date is already captured here, so the next thing we need to have is the units ordered or quantity. And then the unit price, price. Let me keep it simple. Price, and then amount paid. Amount. That's quantity times price. You get the amount. But in order to keep it simple, I will show you how you can work out the amount such that the amount is automatically computed. Amount for that item. So these are the key tables for our order entry. So these are the key tables. So I think you can see our key tables in the order entry. So these are the key tables. This is the first table, second table, and then the third table. So this will be primary key. So this is going to be a primary key order ID, and then order details ID is also going to be a primary key. What it means that this one will have a relationship with this table through this customer ID, and then this one will have a relationship with this table through this order ID. So this one will be connected to the order ID column in the order details. That's the beauty of databases, because databases are relational. They are connected to each other. Rather than keeping all this information in one file, all of this, you better keep the information in 3 tables. In this way, you not need to repeat these details of address every time you capture the information, like we do it in Microsoft Excel. So without further ado, I'm going to create these tables. I'm going to create the 3 tables. The first table, I'm going to create the 3 tables. First of all, I'm going to create a new database. So access here. I open blank database. I call it I browse where I want to keep it, and let me keep it somewhere. And applications, I have a folder where I'm doing this, so I'm going to call it orders. So say OK, create. So we've created a database, and we are going to create the tables. There are many ways of creating tables. For some of you who don't know how to use this function of creating tables, please refer to my previous videos about table creation. So without further ado, let's create a table. The first table we are saying is customer table, and these are the fields. So you come here, let's start creating tables. I just need to close this database such that we doesn't confuse us. So you can create table through here. You can say create the design view, or you can just start with this one, and you right click. There are many ways. Let's try to design view so that I explain. So it had already created some table here, but let me do away with it. I don't need this table, just sorry. So I've deleted that table. So remember, the first table, we are going to call it customer table. So remember, in that table we have customer. The first field is customer ID, and this one is going to be an auto number. Then we go to the next is a name, telephone, email. So we go name. This one okay, name is a reserved word, so we don't need to use name. We can use, let's use a customer name, such that we avoid reserved words. Customer name. Then what next? We have telephone, then email, then telephone. We can leave telephone as a short text as well, because there could be telephone numbers with alphanumeric with the letters. So let's leave it as short text. and then next is email, then next is um, address. So yeah, this is our customer table which I'm going to save. But remember, we need to assign a primary key. So as I try to close here, the system will ask me to save. I'm going to save. So this is our customer T table. So say OK. Now it wants to assign a primary key. We can say yes. It will automatically assign for you a primary key. This table, I try to delete it, but let me delete it. We don't need it for now. So this is our table here. You can see I've already created a table, and this is our table. As you work, it is better to capture some information. So let me say capture name of the customer, Andrew S, telephone number, some number, just some number, then email, Andrew Andrew SS at maybe mail.com. This is at mail.com, and then address maybe drive 6 AA block, just tentative information. I'm just speaking any sort of data, but this is how you can capture now information in a table. Having done that, you close. Now I've captured some information in the table, so that when I click here, the good thing, Access automatically saves information. So you see how we have captured some information in this table. We can even create another table. So we are going to go again, create table. I can even use this and go to design view. There are many ways of creating tables, and I can even start with naming the table. This is order table, or what orders table, whatever you prefer. This one automatically assigns the primary key. Primary key means is a unique field in a table. So you'll not find two orders with the same number, or three orders the same number. So I'm going to capture my columns: order ID, customer ID. So I have order ID, auto number, customer ID. It's better to use the same name as the one you used under customers, because you called it customer ID. Here don't come and say customer's ID when you used customer ID. So this one, it should be a number, and not a primary key, because it's already a primary key in customer table. Then we go to the next, is a date order notes and is paid. Put date order. So here the data type is going to be date time. Of course, someone would use a short text, but the date time is given. The option is there, so you do date time. So date time, and then the next field we have is by the way, before I proceed, I'm going to put a default value such that the date is automatically captured. So the default value, if you want the date, today's date to get captured, use date, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, and then you move on. What is the next field? Notes, and then lastly is paid. So let's put notes. Here we can keep short text. I don't think you write a lot of notes. And is paid. This is like a question. It has customer paid, is paid, yes or no. So here it is a yes or no. And you can say default value, the one that comes automatically should be a no. And if customer has paid, that's when you turn it to yes. So I'm going to show you how these two work after saving my table. So we can save our table here and close. So when I go to order table, you can see the default date comes automatically, and is paid is no. If we had indicated yes, it would have a tick like this. So I can even reorganize this date as follows. Design view. I can say the format of the date I want. There are so many formats depending on what you want. In the I always go for this medium date, such that when I close here, it asks me to save. You can either save from here or save by just closing, and it will prompt you to save, such that when I check on this, you see the format 20th Feb. It even brings the date picker automatically, and yeah, this is how now you can capture your order. Let's type in some tentative data. Remember we started with customers, and I'm the first customer ID. So now let me go to the order. This will be automatic. Order ID is automatic, so you come and type in customer ID. This is me, number 1. Of course, this is not the efficient way of capturing data. I will show you how to use forms. And then you see here, I've already captured the current date today. You don't need to type date. Notes, probably not at the moment. There are no notes. This is not mandatory. So I've captured the first order. But then we need to create. The order details table. You remember the order details table? This one. Let's create it. We start with order details ID. So go create table. I can even use this one here and go to design view. There are many ways of creating tables, and I give it a name: order details table. Let me see. Let us use order detail table. Spelling is not good. Right, order detail table. Order detail table. So this is now this comes with a default primary key. So you type order detail ID. Should be auto number. This is the primary key. This is a sign of a key, primary key. It's like a key. The key we use to open locks or doors. Then the here we can use details, because they are details table. And then the next field column is order ID, because now we need to relate. This is how we call this is what we call relationship database, because if you don't have the order ID in this table, it will not be able to talk to this table. So This will be order ID. It should not be a primary key because this is actually called a foreign key. Maybe to explain to you uh, these relationships, if you have this one as a primary key in this table, in the other table it should be a secondary key. This is like a foreign key here, but here it is the primary key. So it can't be primary key here and at the same time primary key here. So we go on. So remember, this one should be a number because they are numbers. If you use text, then the primary keys would not be talking to each other because you remember we assign this one a number or not a number. So this one should also be a number. So having done that, you go to items or item name. Item, you can call it item name here. This is item name. This is the structure of the table, and then quantity. So item name can be short text, and then quantity. How many units? Quantity. This should be a number, and then we go to price, the price, and then or unit price of that item should also be a number. And then we move to what's the last one? We move to amount. Of course, you know, quantity times price, you get the amount. But to make it simple, I will show you a better way of managing this column of amount using calculated field. But I don't want to complicate it for now. So let's use this one again as a number. But however, there's what we call calculated here within this table, but we can as well use calculated fields on a form or a query. So I'm going to calculate it. So when you click on that, you get this expression. So what we are going to do, we are going to the order detail table, and here we are going to be multiplying. You open these brackets, you're going to be multiplying price multiply by, what do we multiply by? We multiply by quantity. Actually, I should have started with quantity. Okay, let me see what I get. So it's going to be calculated here, expression quantity times price. So members, let's save our table. Once I close here, it will ask me to save the table, or you can save from here. So let's see how it works. As you develop these databases, it is always good to first to try putting data once the table is done. So we go to order detail table. Let's try to put in some information. Remember, we had one the order here. We have one order here, and it is order number 2. I captured order number 1 and deleted, but now we have order number 2. So the details will go in here. So since we know that our first order is 2, because we are trying to connect to the other order in this table. So the name of the product, say, is sugar. And then quantity, assume we bought 3 kilograms at say $10. You just hit enter and you see the amount is automatically calculated. You don't need to enter it. Let's enter another line. Here I don't need to type in the order detail because this is an auto generated number. Again, it's the same order ID number 2. Assuming I bought salt, I bought 3 kilos at $5 each. Enter, that's 10. Then enter. Then maybe apples. Again, same order I. Remember, this 2 is the order ID I created. And here, these are apples. The apples were, say, 20. And each apple was costing me, say, $2. So you can see the beauty of Microsoft Access. So I'll be able to link this order ID onto the order table here to connect it to the order ID in this table. So I've captured that information. I captured one customer here. You can as well capture more customers. Say James B. Telephone number, just imaginary number. Then you put email, gm@gm.com, and sorry, this should be at, and then this is a drive, and then yeah, like that. Then you enter, and then you'll be able to add in more and more information. So you can see I can also go and add in the order, another order by James. You just come here and put, remember the customer ID for James is 2. So this 2 should also have, you see, this is 2, customer ID 2, but the order ID is 3. So I can add some order information in here for James. So remember, the customer ID, the order ID rather for James was 3, and he bought, say, grapes. In most cases are more expensive, so 10, and we do maybe at $3. You see, maybe at 3.5. You see, you get, okay, it rounds it off. Let's say $4 to make it easy. I will show you how you can deal with rounding of numbers or keep decimal points. So this is how you do it. And in short, you can see, I can close now this. This customer table is connected to the order table, and this order table is connected to the order details table. You can as well rename this, because I think details is better. I show you how you can rename. You just right click and say rename. That's how you can rename. You come here and say details. Now we have created our tables, 1, 2, 3 tables. Now it's time to create forms. I'm going to show you how to create forms with ease. The first form is going to be for customers. So you come create a form. I'm going to show you how to create forms from scratch. So you go to we can use a blank form. Let's go for blank form. So I click blank form. When I click there, you go to design view. This is our blank form. This blank form is not connected to anything. There are many ways of creating a form. Please watch my previous videos. But what we can do, we are going to create our blank form, and how do I connect it to a table? You just click here, right click, and you go to properties, and this is how we connect record source customer. So now I've connected this form to a table customer, this form to a table customer. And now how do we add on the fields such that we have a form? You go to design, and you say add fields, and these are our fields. They are here. Remember, these are the fields we created: customer ID, customer name, telephone, email, address. So you can highlight all these fields by pressing shift and arrow down, and you drag all the shifts at one go like this. So I've created a customer. I can even extend this like this. I've created what we call a customer. I've created a customer form. So this is where we shall capture customer information. So you can even put a label. You go up here and say label customers. So customer. So this is how we do it, and I make this one a little bigger, maybe 16. I close and save. I call it customer form. Customer form. So you see, this is customer form. Okay, so just see the form we've created. This is the form, and of course there are many ways of displaying this form, but of course we can make it a little better by making sure that this is separated. Customer ID, customer. You can as well say name. I said name is a reserved word, but you can say customer name, then telephone, email, than that. I've made some changes. You can as well change the color of this to your favorite color. Let's say blue. No, the text to blue, sorry, to blue, and maybe we bold it and say close. Yes, but I want to make this floating such that it doesn't cover the entire page, so I can as well again go back here, design view. Let me also try to center this. Hope it will center. Sometimes center that. Oh, I can align everything on the left like that, and then so there's something I want to show you, because when I open this form, the number I think it's not aligning, but well, that's not very important. You can see here this form is occupying the entire page, but we want it to appear as a window. So what you do, you go to File. Oh, sorry. Ah, sorry, it has taken me out of the database. And let me open again. Orders. Yes, enable content. If you don't enable content, the system will not be able to you not be able to develop with ease. So I want what we call floating forms. Rather than occupying the entire page here, the entire screen, I want it floating. So you go File, you go to Options. I want to make the window float. You go to Current Database. You say display. Let me see. Yeah, document window options, not tabbed, because what we are having now is tabbed. Tabbed means you are having the forms, tables on tabs, but now we want what we call overlapping windows, so that windows can overlap. And having done that, I say okay. Okay, let me see whether it will work, or I need to restart the database. So let me restart, and let me close and restart. So I go to Access. I reopen my database, and see if it has picked up the changes. Yes, you see what I was saying, it is floating now. I think that's a very important aspect. Now let me also create the table. This is the table for customers, but I also need to create a table for order. Order table. So I come here, I say create. I'm going to use a blank table, rather blank form. Sorry. I go to design view. I'm teaching you now how to again to connect the database table, which is now order table, and then I need to bring my fields. So you go to design, add fields, and then these are the fields. I highlight these fields, drop them. Sometimes it doesn't work, no, but it's gonna work like that. These are my fields. So there's something now I'm going to show you. Which is very interesting. But before I do that, let me first save this this form. What is the form? Ladies and gentlemen, the form is order form. F stands for form. Let's see how does it look like. Okay, so far so good. It looks nice. But as I said, you can do a lot of redesign, making it look better. I can even make this background gray to look like these real Visual Basic applications. So I can go for grayish background. You see what I mean? Maybe that is too dark. Maybe that one. Yeah. Something of the sort. You see what I'm trying to say, to show you? So you see now it looks a little different. Again, don't worry if there are some errors that I make. It's better I make those errors and also learn from them, because you encounter similar problems, mistakes, and when you make a mistake you learn. So I don't want even to delete to kind of review the video and remove uh, those problems, because they are part of learning. So I say yes. You see, now the form looks better. So having done that, let's also create the form for order details. Here please, I request that you pay more attention, because this is the most important part. So again, create. Maybe we can try another way of creating a form. Let me try form design. Yeah, form design, that's another way. Again, we can create form here. What is the source? Order details. And then we add these items on our form here. So now this is the order detail form, again, which I'm going to save. But before I save, I can make some slight changes here, like that. Order details ID, and then order ID, item name, then quantity, price, amount. So we call this one order details form. Order details form, and I say okay. So let's check it out to see how it looks. Yeah, this is how it looks, but I'm going to organize it such that it is easier for the person entering data to capture this information. You can see we entered 4 orders for Andrew and James, but I'm going to show you how to reorganize this. What you do, you come to order form. Now what I want to do is to bring this order details form onto this form here. But before we do that, let me show you this. You go to design. I'm going to create headers here such that this part of the information is in a header. So how do we do it? You right click and say show form header and footer. You see what it brings? It brings a header here. So what I do is click this and then put it up in the header section, and I can also organize these, put them this way. You can see you can always move. You click, make them slightly larger, and then I can move this one up here. So you have header here, and you also have footer down. You see, header, footer. You can as well give these different colors. It's already different color here, but this one you can also give it different color. Just give it, maybe you can say something like that. You can pick the colors you want. So you see how I've changed this. You see how it looks, this order form. You see, this is how it looks, because I want to utilize this part for order details. So the next part is the very interesting part we are going to do. So you go to design view. So when you are in design view, you just go to the order details form, you drag it, you left click and drag and drop it on this. You see, this one you can delete, This one here, I don't need it, it's not very important. So I can as well click on it and connect this. And then let me see how it comes out. You see how it comes out? It's showing me the order ID number 2 belonging to Andrew, and it was made on the 20th of Feb and is not paid. But however, the problem we have here, we want to have these in the form of worksheet, such that they don't look like this, such that I'm able to see all the orders, all the order items for Andrew. Here I can only see sugar, but you also want to see salt there. So please pay attention here. What you do, you just close this. You right click here and go to design view. What you are going to do is simple. Again, here you are going to put a head and footer. So here you drag this, and not the entire thing. You just drag these titles. I want them to look like a worksheet. You cut and paste here, and then I start arranging like this, like this, like this, like this, then amount like that. Okay, hope we are together. And then reduce here. So this idea works in any form of business. Even if you have a repair shop, even if you have a merchandise shop, even if you have a furniture shop. So you see, now I'm trying to organize this, and then I organize the item here, and then quantity, then price, then amount. Remember, we have already mapped this form on, we don't need all this space. We have already mapped this form on the order form. It's already there. Once we make any changes here, they will be reflected there, as you are going to see in a minute. So you see, so what I've done, I've put it in this order, and you are going to see how it behaves. So I try to open it and see. Now we see how information is coming through. This is how it is coming through. So what you do, again, you go to design view. You don't need all this space here. You can just do that, save, such that so that's what you get. So when you go to order form, you see now I've reorganized. But however, how comes that I can't see salt? It's because we have to convert this into a continuous form. So how do we do it? You right click and say design view, this one. You can do it from here. You can even go and do it from the form itself. This form is here, is this one here. So you double click here at the top left corner, and they say, come here and say default view. I want what we call a continuous form here, and then close. Let me see if my information comes. See, you see what it brings? It brings for me the orders I've made. I've made um, orders for sugar. I've made orders for salt. I've made order for apples. But remember, the grapes was not my order. Let me see whether the grapes is showing under under customer number 2. Customer number 2 is yeah, you can see the grapes are under customer number 2. Customer number 2, customer ID number 2 is James. You can see this from here. Customer number 1 is Andrew. Customer number 2 is James. Now the Access is so intelligent that it has already connected. It has already connected. The orders for Andrew, and they left out grapes. So let me also do some kind of clean up here, such that this is order space ID, then customer ID, date, order. So this, I think this is good. So you can do the rest of clean up designs and making it look good at a later stage, but the most important thing is first have the system working, not just make it look good when it's not going to work. So we are trying to make the system work for us. We are removing excess space. So here so you can see now it's coming out. You can even reduce the space in there. Then it's paid. We can put is paid in the middle here, and then the notes, we can make the notes a little larger depending on what you want to capture as notes. You see, that's how we make it look good. And then yeah, you see, this is what I get. As I scroll through the orders, you can see I should be able to go to the different orders. Remember, we created a customer form here. So what I want to do is to put a button that can take me to Andrew's orders. So this is very simple. Please pay attention here, ladies and gentlemen. You go to design view, pick here button. I put a button here probably, and then you go to form operations, then open form. You go to next. Which form do I want to open? I want to open order form, and then open the form and find specific data to display. Select this one because we want to find specific data to display for this the particular customer. Now this is the interesting part. What you do, you select the customer form field that will connect to under order form. Again, you select the customer ID, so that these two will be talking to each other for us to be able to get the information we need. So once you highlight these two, don't select this and don't select customer ID and then order ID. No, select customer ID in both tables. Click here. It's like you are joining now tables. You go next, and then you say open customer orders. That's the name of the form. next, finish. You see the form has come out. This is the form. Down here shouldn't be very big. So I can close here. Yes. So let me show you how it works. So when I click here, I'm now with Andrew. This thing looks so wide. The ID number doesn't look very good. You can always make it small. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, click here for customer ID 1 is Andrew. When I open customer orders, it will pop up. It will show me the orders for Andrew. You can see, very interesting. You see the customer ID is number 1, and this is order number 2, and you can see order ID here is the same here, even here. I will show you in the future that you may not even need to have these showing these two columns, but for purposes of illustration and understanding how it works, I think we can always keep them there as you learn more about this concept of relational databases. Let me put some notes here. To pay in 2 weeks. You can as well create alerts within your system to remind you, but that will be a lesson for another time. So you can see when I open, yeah. So when I go to the next customer, that is James. When I click here, it will bring me the information for James. He made an order number 3. His ID is 2, and you can see this is order ID 33. It will be 33 throughout. You can as well capture more information here, and assuming that you also made order for, say, cups, and he made 20 cups probably, each at $3. You just enter, the 60 will be captured here. So assuming you wanted to add another order for a different customer, you can always do so by clicking here. You can add, but remember, you should be able to remember the customer ID. I'll show you how to automate this in the next videos, because it's better to have this as a drop down, such that you pick from the list of customers. And I think you can see it's very interesting stuff. Let me go to design view of this form here. Design view, and there's something I want to show you. When you click just at the border here, double click, you will see that these two forms are connected by order ID here. So if you find that your information is not coming through as you want, you have to make sure that the link master field under the order form, it reads order ID, and the link child field is linking to order ID. So this is how it works, ladies and gentlemen. But before I close, I just want to show you how the relationships created themselves automatically. When I click here, you see how the relationships, you're going to see how the relationships created themselves automatically. These are system tables, don't worry about them. Show table. I'm going to show these tables. Add table. Okay, here the relationships don't show clearly, but I just pull this down, this one down, this one down. Okay. What I will do, I will show you, but the tables are connected. These 3 tables, this table is connected to this one, and then this table is connected to this one. Probably it is better viewed in a when I'm trying to create a query, that's when you see how they are connected. I'm not going to complete this query, but just want to show you. I go to query design, I select all the tables, how the tables are connected. You can see this table is connected to this one. Of course the line here is not showing, but they are connected. The table, in the background, they are connected. The customer, let me put this one this way. The customer ID here should be connected to this customer ID. You can as well connect them from here, but they are already in the background connected. That's why I want you to watch my video on relationships. So I'm not going to save this. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching this video, and definitely you can go ahead and make more changes to this database, make it look better, and please don't forget to like my video, share my video, hit the notification button, and please keep checking for more videos that come through. But I request that you like this video, and you can make comments as well.